everyone, thank you very much for joining me today. Today's reading is going to be your innate talents and gifts and how to bring them out of yourself, or how to make the best of yourself using them. You have got 3 choices. I was getting the choices out as in the little icons or whatever they are, and then I found this next to the bed, which is, I've been in the attic getting the kids, all the kids' old things out, so I was going to change the chicken because this is so good. Look, dancing frogs, what more could you want? So I was going to use that instead of the chicken. So if you like a frog there, don't choose it just because it dances. That could be choice number 2. So you've got the Swedish boy for number 1. You've got dancing frog for number 2. I feel like he's got a bit of advantage now because he's just been shown in action. And you've got Swedish girl, so don't leave them out either, for number 3. So if you want to take your choice, then we'll get going.
La música de Harry Frog.
I can tell you what I'm thinking, and then it may change. Let me just rumble through the cards with what I can see, and I won't answer your question immediately, but I can tell you what I can see, and you can pick bits out that may apply to you. You've got the Page of Cups here and the Queen of Swords. As I'm putting these cards out, I'm thinking of somebody who enjoys working on their own. The Queen of Swords, with their airy feel, oftentimes they can become overstimulated with lots of other people around them. Not always a group person, not in a bad way, but watching my dog walking yesterday, who she's like half Alsatian, half husky, and I'm thinking she looks a bit wolfy. And then I'm looking at her thinking, pack animal or lone wolf? Fire signs tend to be pack animals. The air signs, other signs included as well, probably water too, tend to be the lone wolves. So there's a feeling here that you do something that's quite self-absorbed, soft, gentle, psychic, creative. Jewelry design, florist springs to mind here, or you're a carer, but you need a lot of space, a lot of time to yourself. You're a gentle person that can feel sometimes a bit overwhelmed by harsher or more brusque energy. I think here there's probably an intellectual component with the Queen of Swords here, so you may like to read your creativity, or your way forward may be in research, expressing ideas, doing something that could be termed intellectual, like this is difficult for me to think, analysing ideas. And you've got Pluto over here, so that sort of 8th house feeling of being very good at understanding people's motives, their early lifestyle, where they come from, you know, so how they work inside themselves, the psychology, maybe part and parcel of what you're good at. So that could be brought out. It feels to me that time spent on your own, perhaps when you were young or even now, plays a big part in how you use your mind, how you use your gifts, and bringing that out. It feels like there's a timing factor in here, that bringing that out now is the right time to do it. You've also got here underneath it the 5 of Wands, which adds to that feeling that you need space to yourself. And I don't know whether that is part of who you are now and your gifts already, or whether you need to find space for yourself to do something that you probably don't get paid for maybe already. And unless you find the time, you will never get paid for it. And there's no time like the very moment, even if it's small bits you scrape out of every day. But to me, there's a gentleness here. There's I'm going to say loneliness, and I've meant that in a positive way. There's a need to find time to yourself, to be able to dig deep, find your creativity, to work hard within yourself rather than just always being with people around you and giving out. It feels like almost like you've got to get a like a portfolio together type of feeling, although you may have already done that. I don't actually mean a portfolio, but like a it's like something you present to people with your, like a CV with, you know, what you can do on it. It's like you're still preparing here and you need space to do it. It's what I've got from the middle pile here. The first pile here, you've got the 10 of Wands and you've got the Knight of Pentacles and you have got the 6 of Wands here. So to me, that is confidence in perseverance. That is your ability to stick at things once you get going. Is probably like nobody else. Pluto with the Knight of Pentacles and the 10 of Wands, it feels like even though you need space to yourself, there's that earthy feeling that you're not easily knocked over, that once you've set your mind to something, you're fixed on it and you keep going. So there's a Taurus type of feeling here as well, and there's an Aquarius type of feeling with the Queen of Swords. So to me, that is fixed. That can, it's somebody who can spend a lot of time doing something. You may even use your hands, like the Taurus and with the flowers here and the florist type of feeling. You may use your hands in landscape gardening. Yeah. Arts and crafts in some way that feels as if it's got a more hands-on feeling, you know, more like not just, it's like cutting out and things maybe as well. You have got the 8 of Cups here as well. That would fit in here with the timing with regards to needing to find time to yourself to develop the bits that you want to push forward in life. There's like a message in here that feels like there's something that you really want to do that you have already found that you put your time into, but you need more space to do it, and there's a feeling here you need to walk away from something else that takes up a lot of your time, that when you get to 90, 100, you won't be so thankful for the bit that pays your wages, but the bits that you want to express, the bits that you that give you that kick. You've got cards here with the 5 of Swords here. I will get to your gifts in a minute. The 5 of Swords, which is a fighty feeling to do with people and setting people free and strength. So that with the Pluto here could be helping people look inwards, working with groups, working with people to get the best out of themselves. So you could even teach in some way. You could have groups which make people, groups of like classes that make people feel good, whether it is showing your skills. It feels like you need time on your own to develop your skills to bring out and give to other people. There's you're an incredibly strong person. With the Strength card here, the Pluto card here, and you're ending in the Fortune card. And okay, so your advice is the Fortune. So that is, I'll go to your advice before I actually finish here. It feels like the gifts that I will go back to here are ripe for grabbing and running and expressing. It feels like your time is now. You don't want to miss this moment to, if there's something you've got in your mind that you feel that you need to bring out of yourself, it's like the timing is now with the Fortune card here. The 9 of Water here, it to me makes me think that you work extremely hard once you've got a purpose or a deadline or an ending, but until that I think you're quite easygoing, you know, quite soft-hearted, quite you've let things slip is probably what I'm thinking here with regards to your wishes and your dreams. So let's answer your question from what I've got so far. Your innate talents have got something to do with a clear mind, something to do with being able to analyze and perceive and understand motives, things below the surface, where other people are coming from. There's a feeling here of gentleness. There's a feeling here that there's like a HR feeling here. I'm thinking HR because the lady who works in HR that I know is very much this type of personality. She understands where people are coming from. She's very diplomatic. She's got a very good insight into getting information out, being very straight-minded with it, finding the correct information for the correct cause or the correct reason, but she delivers things in such a fashion that make people feel loved. So that can cover lots of different, that should that could be talents, but I can't actually think of particular careers if that's what you're looking for. There's beauty that's brought to life in a very soft way through digging very deep, through pushing very hard, and through coming from a personality that's very easy with itself. And it feels very much that because you know who you are, and because there's a strength about you with the Five of Swords and strength here, that you have the ability to push through, and the time is ripe now. You've got to do it now. Don't go back to your Nine of Water where everything feels really easy. You know that you're talented in areas which involve beauty, kindness, gentleness, depth of understanding, and a clear mind within group situations, possibly, but you need, or you have needed, a lot of time to get to the point where you've got the confidence to do it. Let me just put a few cards out to give some sort of more direct inkling into your talents, because it's easier with tarot cards to get, you've got Pluto here, which is strength and understanding and depth and psychology. Then you've got the Queen of Swords, which adds to the sort of analytical points in that, where you might like to research, you may want to study, you may want to be a counsellor. So you've got that. Then you've got the kindness here. So I can understand what's behind it, but I wouldn't know what the job is, if that was a particular job. You've also got here ease with yourself. So you may come from this isn't like a Chiron power where you're coming from a point of view that you feel like you are healed by doing your job. It's more a point of view that people are going to feel at ease with you because you're at ease with yourself. There's a feeling here of being able to push big time. There's confidence. You're coming from a place that people get the rub off you because they want to be more like you, and you understand them anyway. You give people a new lease of life. It's like whatever you can present to the world allows people to see both sides, to connect, and to feel like there's an alternative view. So heaven knows what that is to me at the moment. There's connections here again. There's the ability to relate to people. There's an ability to see straight through things and to multiply the beauty, whatever that means. Let me try and think of a few examples. I'm going to go quiet a minute because I feel like you need some sort of examples. Okay. There's an artistic feel. There's a feeling of, as I said earlier, getting a portfolio together. If you are into art, it's feel like do as much as you possibly can, even if you feel that what you do, even if you put an hour in each day, to keep nipping away and make sure you find the time from basically pulling out the outside world. There's a feeling here of keep going at it, even if whatever you do one day feels awful. It's like keep pushing and layering, like you need a portfolio, loads of different bits together. Lots of it you won't be pleased with, but you can choose a few bits to go forward with. There's also a feeling here of just natural outside beauty with regards to gardening, landscape gardening. As I said earlier, florist. There's a very Virgo feel to making nature more beautiful, and there's nothing like nature to get any sort of to ignite your passions or your creativity in some way. There's a feeling here of soft directness, whether you allow people to feel at ease themselves by being very clear but having a deep understanding of where they're coming through. So there's got that counselling feel as well. There's a feeling here of jewellery design, of working with details and working with what feels like a lot of time spent on your own that you present later on. There's a feeling here that you bring peace to people in some way, whether it is, and that can be, I know that's quite, I'm going to say flaccid then, it's not flaccid, it can be quite a bit of a you know, with people when sometimes when you get things like affirmations, sometimes an affirmation I can read it but I don't feel it. That feels like sometimes you can say things in tarot that are quite vague, but you've got to, if you do reading for quite a few people, it's the ability to be able to give hope is probably what I'm trying to say, through being quite, what appears quite, I'm going to say trivial on the outside. You know, some people, I used to walk a lot with two women who were very fiery, you know, big drinkers and you know, big grabbers of fun. I can't think of a different way. And they used to say to me things like, art is a waste of time. And I'm thinking, well, no, actually, no, it's not, because it's those little bits of beauty that we pull out of the world, that we allow, it influences us subconsciously. If there was no art with regards to architecture, with regards to landscape gardening, we would all feel like we're living in bins. And that affects everybody, even the hardest, most unperceptive or imperceptive of people, in a way that they probably can't describe, because they just don't think that way, which is fine, because those will be the people that are rescuing us when we're all in trouble, if you know what I mean. There's different places for everyone. This has a feeling of delivering beauty through understanding, through time spent on your own, multiplying things and presenting it in a way that allows other people to feel good. So I really don't know what the jobs are. I put cards down here to help me, and all it's saying is connections, clear mind, and multiplying beauty in some way, allowing things to develop. There's a feeling here that, you know, this type of artist feeling here, it doesn't have to be art. But most of the time with this type of feeling, there can often be an inability to sell yourself, which has a feeling here. So that would be your way forward, because you've got persistence and you're dogged with regards to actually putting in the groundwork to getting something together that you feel is of value. And you're quite confident with regards to what you can do, but it feels like your confidence may lack with the Eight of Cups down here, with presenting it to the world, because it may be something that's very internal to you. Now, you think it's beautiful, you know that you can do a good job doing it, but there's a slight sort of, well, there's a big step with regards to actually presenting that, because everybody's different. I don't know if that actually, the battery just went then, so I don't know if you heard that. I was just saying that that you know there's beauty inside you, and whatever you can present to the world with your understanding and with what I say is a very gentle approach and a very insightful approach, is not, you may feel is not accepted by the outside world, even though you have confidence in yourself and your abilities. There's an ease with you that feels like you know what you're doing, you're happy what you're doing, but when you actually have that step up to delivering, that may be where you feel that you become stuck. Yeah, I feel that's where you do become stuck. Your way out of this is to realise that with the Three of Cups and the Fool card here and the Five of Swords above it, your way out of this is to use that strength, that plutonic strength that got you where you are to now, to this very moment, and to realise that everybody's different. You know, you put things out there into the world and you're going to get half of the people thinking, what a load of old crud, but there'll be somebody else there who just nips something inside themselves, who functions very similarly to you. I mean, I've put readings out, you know, many times, and you 99.9% of the time you get, you know, positive things, because most people just drift away if it's not their type of things. But I got a comment once, which was quite a while back, of this is just not good enough. This is just not good enough. And to me, it was ringing back to you know, probably the issues that they would have had in it. To me, it felt like a parent talking to them, where somebody said, this is just not good enough, and I don't want to be just good enough, I just want to be me, which, you know, is in part good at times and revolting at times. So that wasn't something you take personally inside yourself, because it's so distant from where you want to be. But yeah, everything, you know, you do, you know, always when you put yourself out there, there's always bits like, oh gosh, crikey. But that was, you know, the Fool is, it's like knowing that you can reach some people, not everybody, with this group card here. The Fool card takes their own track. It doesn't worry about colouring in the lines. It's like you can go outside those lines. You've got to stretch yourself outside those lines. Unless you do something that has the possibility to fall down, flatten your face, you probably aren't stretching yourself. We can all stay in our comfort zones, which is easy. But sometimes, occasionally you've got to push, and then you put yourself on the edge with the Fool card there, the Five of Swords with the group card and strength, to be slated, to be vilified, to be whipped. But that's what we do, regardless of whether it's putting a new idea into a work scenario with a group of people, whether it's trying something totally different. It's oxymoron comes to mind. What is that? With regards to the usual track, and it feels like the Pluto here, you can feel the rumblings, you can read patterns, you can read situations, you've got insight into people, and sometimes that can often trip you up, because you know how to please people. Pluto could be, if used in a negative way, I don't think you do whatsoever, can be the great manipulator. And in a positive way, you can know what people want, you can fill people's needs. And in this pile here, it feels like you shouldn't be doing that. You can do that perfectly. You understand people, and with regards to your career, where you want to go, your best bits is that you understand what's needed. But there's a with the Fool card here, and the Strength card here, and the Fight, and the Three of Cups here, it's doing that could be a trip up. It's doing that you need to be able to it feels like you can see a picture of a table, with all the cups and saucers on it, and when the magicians, they aren't magicians, but they are, and they pull the tablecloth, it feels like you need to do that, and things will fall off. Things will be left standing on that tablecloth. And with regards to your steps forward, you need to pull that tablecloth, and almost your way forward is by keeping your strength, your sanity, but also pushing it donkey on the edge, pushing it to the edge in some way, but knowing that you've got this to fall back on when the other bits fall off the table. You've got the Nine of Water here, and that's your strength. Your Nine of Water is easy with yourself, and it's got that Sagittarius feel, that sort of Pisces feel of you can shrug your shoulders at times. You don't really care, but you read well, and I think that you, at times in your life, you've had to pull out. But I think those may have been your best times for getting the best out of yourself. So, sorry, that is, lots of thoughts and feelings in there. So your innate talents and gifts, and how to bring them out of yourself, how to bring them forward. The timing in this is important. The time is now. There's a feeling of creativity and insight and clear-mindedness, and there's a feeling here that you allow beauty to be expressed some way in the world. That it could be through architecture, it could be through art, it could be through counselling, it doesn't matter. You allow people to feel good by presenting part of yourself to others. The Nine of Water here makes me think that there's a beauty that feels good inside you, but you can stick to something. You need to start, be clear, get your purpose together, start something moving, use your confidence, it's infectious is probably the feeling I'm thinking here. The feeling that I'm thinking is infectious. Move away from past hurts that I don't think they actually hold too tight a hold on you, but move away from those. It's like start something fresh, put an edge to it, use your confidence, keep moving, use your insight in the best way possible to understand what is needed, and move forward now like you are expecting to make a boom. So that's what I've got. As I said, it's really difficult to think of, and I've always been really bad at this, to think of particular jobs and talents. I can feel qualities inside a person, but jobs, talents, I always find difficult. I don't think I can. It's because my memory is absolutely awful. I can't think of anything apart from things that I have tried to understand inside my head. And then it sinks in. But with regards to names, with regards to jobs, in and out I don't know. I think if I was born later, I definitely would have been diagnosed with ADHD, without doubt. Without doubt. but I don't diagnose myself because I quite enjoy my mind, although it's difficult for other people sometimes and myself. But that's what I've got, pile number 1. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye. Pile number 2. You chose the frog. You like things that move. Okay, there's a feeling here that you do like things that move. You've got the Queen of Wands and you have got the Justice card for the center pile. So to me, this feels like a fighter for justice in some way. You could just be a straightforward, lawyer or judge, that type of feeling where you actually do fight for justice. You could be somebody who, there's lots of different ways with this as well, because you're coming from what I feel is a tough position in the past here, and I'm thinking of people that I know that work with children, particular types of people with fire inside them that are really good at working with troubled children. I've seen people in very admirable qualities almost put most of their daily effort and time into those kids that have been they're tough, and softer people walk away because when you're getting chairs thrown at you, when you're getting kids who really you've given them their 5th warning and they just are incredibly troubled, that it's easy to just think, okay, that's it. The amount that you get back in your face takes a fiery type of person to be able to say, I will still help you, I will still help you, I will be there. It doesn't have to be children, but it's fighting for something to be just that may have been taken away from you, possibly in your youth, or may have been taken away from somebody else, and you're going to fight to push that back out into life in a way that feels like it gives balance. And you've got the Hermit card, you have got the 8 of Swords, and you've got the 8 of hold on, got one more to put out. Okay, yeah, you've got the 8 of Swords and the 8 of Cups here. To me, it feels like time has been spent thinking in a way that may have been quite difficult, and to me it feels like the past. There was some point, perhaps when you were young, through a difficult situation, that you had either an epiphany or an idea or a thought with what you wanted to do and how to get it moving. There's a fierceness, there's a confidence about you, there's a need to make things good in the world. You've got the fight to do it. You've got the Tower here, and you've got a tough personality. So part of your talent and parts of your gifts are your toughness and your ideal of fairness, or your idea of fairness, maybe ideal. Funny, just a thought there with the 10 of Cups, with the whales in the crowd, and the Queen of Wands here, made me think of that George Clooney film Up in the Air, where he goes into difficult situations and he does it in a way that tries to bring a sense of ease in a situation that is hard, which is probably what I'm thinking here. You may have experienced that in the past. You've got the 10 of Earth here. The 10 of Earth next to the Hermit. I'll explain the cards because I think for 2 reasons that it gets me off the hook with regards to, thinking, well, where did she get that from? But also there's a feeling, if you're interested in cards and you've just started reading, you probably won't agree because, because it comes a lot from inside experiences as well as just just thinking what the cards could be. So it's just thoughts and feelings that you can either take on and help you to understand, or to say that's not for me. That wasn't very clear. Basically, I'm doing it if you're learning to read the cards, and it helps. And the other reason was to clarify things, why I've actually said them. The 10 of Earth and the Hermit card, to me, more so in the past, feel of, and I'm looking for talents and I'm looking for your gifts that you're going to give. And this is coming from possibly tough childhood, maybe a past job where somebody pushed against you. And in that fight, the Magician card has come into play, where you've actually changed the way that you think about things and thought, well, hold on, I'm not... It's that rub, isn't it? It's that friction that brings the best out in us. It's a really strange thing to say, but it definitely is. You see people with like T-squares and squares in their chart, and those are the people that make an impact, but it's difficult for them at some certain times, particular times in their life, which this may have happened with you because it was painful, but in that pain you bring something out of yourself that has what I think a feeling of confidence, knowing who you are, and making things fair for others in some way here. You've got a feeling here of not just being like balancing things out. It's like you come into situations and you level them. With the Star card here as well, that you give people alternatives of better ways to live their life. This is less of a creative, well, the Queen of Wands could be, than pile number one, but still a similar feeling that it's from digging deep through having difficulties that you make life beautiful for others, you make life balanced for others, you express yourself in a way that allows you to be center with the Queen of Wands, but that's fair, which is this like up in the air film here as well. So that you come in, you're fair, you change situations, you make situations. Who else was I talking to? No, I wasn't talking to this person. My mind no, I know what I was listening to something about people who are people pleasers and people that don't really care about that, and it was somebody who went into people's work situations and got rid of others, and they were doing it from a non-people pleasing type of way, and it was very much, I can see that the people are basically dead wood, that they're not giving much anymore, and then I can see the people really trying. So I'm listening to this thinking, okay, so I'm seeing it from different perspectives. You can see the people that are really still pushing in life and still putting effort in, and then you're feeling that these other people are just dragging them backwards. So I can see both sides of it. So you may actually do something like that. You may go into situations where you have to make decisions and give alternatives that actually brings hope to perhaps the Star card here, a group in the future, which would be that company with that feeling of up in the air film, which, if you don't know, it's a George Clooney film with a lady who's really good in it. I can't remember her name, the young girl. And he goes into corporations and basically gets rid of people who are going to be sacked in groups. Interesting film. Okay, so you've got fight at the beginning, you've got fight at the end, you've got something happening possibly in your work situation early on, or when you were younger, maybe you were sacked, you had time on your own that gave you the space to think who you want to be and how you're going to do it, and you may have had a plan in action here that's been going on a long time. Very quickly, something that I can mentioning when I first started doing tarot readings was a Scorpio type feeling of, this is my brother's here. My brother is younger than me, and he left home and was living in a really small flat end of the street. He didn't have any, he'd never spent any money, never went to shops or spent money on food. He had a pear tree in the garden, he just used to eat the pears off the trees. But in the meantime, he was working in the local pub. My dad was there, and my dad was like Sagittarius Aries, didn't think, expected everything to be fine, was rude to people because he was just saying what he was thinking. It was just that he was that type of personality. Anyway, not knowing he was rude to people, he was just didn't think what he was saying ever. And this woman decided to get rid of my dad, that she wanted. It was like, those films you get where there's a supermarket film, isn't it, where they take their job really, 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 really seriously. And she wanted him out because she wanted to be the top boss in the local pub. My brother went into work with him and could sense it all going on below the surface, and decided that he was going to get rid of the woman before he got rid of my dad. It was like a 2, 3, 4 year plan in which he succeeded. So there may have been, with the Magician card here, a long time planning in a more positive sense from the Magician card, who you want to be, where you want to go, and that may be one of your gifts here with the Star card too, that you can project forward, and you have the ability to work to some purpose or something that you've set your mind on, set your goals on here. So that is definitely a positive for you. There's a feeling here of the Ten of Cups as well, makes me think of Utopia because of the dancing whales here and being the Ten of Cups after a struggle here. You have the ability to one of your gifts is when things go wrong with the Tower card here and the fighty Seven of, or the defensive Seven of Wands here, below with the Nine of Cups, that you can pick up and keep going. You may have been made bankrupt sometime in your life and got up and kept going. You may have been vilified, was my new word that I used in pile number 1 because it just sounds over dramatic, and still kept things balanced within yourself and kept what I would say your confidence, your nose up, and kept looking forward. So that is definitely one of your, a few of your gifts here. I would put probably more simple terms is your ability to reflect, your ability to fight, your ability, your persistence, your ability to, when the things are bad or when times feel, or when you feel down, is to be able to have optimism and confidence to get things moving again. So there could be some fire in you with the Queen of Wands and that feeling here. You come from a place of wanting the best for the group with the Star and the Justice card here, wanting things to be balanced. And what I feel here with the Star and the Ten of Cups and that utopian feeling, and the Nine of Cups down here of what feels almost like a blissful state. So you may be quite religious. And as I'm saying that, it feels almost like going towards Eastern religions. And this is like Eastern religions to me, probably with the Tower card and the Seven of Wands here, would be more a case of that part of, well, the best part of yourself is your ability to not be stuck on material things. It's all like an experience to me, because the Magician card and the Hermit, you've had time to think of who you are and what you want to be and what's important to you. So that with the Star card is your beauty. Oh yeah, that the Star card there, your beauty is that you almost play with life and you know what's important. You help people feel like things are balanced, which is everything. Balance is everything. And you do that with passion. You allow people to be more aware of who they are in their own journeys, I think, here with the Six of Air and the Palace here, because that's patterns. The Six of Air to me is a journey. Lots of the time it's like mental, how you perceive things and how you heal from those perceptions if they're incorrect. Your thoughts, your ideas, your ideals with the Star card here and the Six of Air. It's like you put the, in a way that you know exactly what you're doing, you put the hope back into life. And you are confident enough and fixed enough and strong enough to be able to, there's almost a feeling here that it's almost by the way that you act that is your best gift rather than what you are, your particular job. That is a big deal. You know, I don't think that when we say our job is this, our job is that, is the most important thing. It's our way of living. This is what this feels magnificent. It feels magnificent to me. It feels like somebody who knows exactly who they are. And it does feel a bit like a butter pile. I often say that, and that sounds weird, but I often say that when I get astrology readings with like Jupiter trines to the Sun and that type of feeling. There's an ease and there's a flow and there's an understanding of the self. There's an acceptance of life. There's you know, almost like you are out of yourself looking down at it. And who you are, you know, I am a this, I am that is not important. It's your lifestyle, how you experience your life, that's important to you, and that is your biggest gift. Your talent is your outlook. Your talent is a rather magnificent way of being at ease and not wanting, just being. You've got the Justice card, you've got the Star card here, you've got the Queen of Wands, but you've still got what I say is that spark to keep moving through situations with fierceness. This is beautiful. I'm saying isn't probably, but this pile has perseverance, it has fire, it has balance, it has insight, it has a very sort of outside the world view of who you are. It feels like somebody that floats through life in a way that inside yourself you know that you've experienced difficulties, but you let them roll over you like water off a duck's back. You won't feel like that with the Six of Air, but that's what other people will perceive. And just in being who you are, like your gift to the world is just by being you. I often talk about these books because I think they're the most magnificent books well, one of the most magnificent books I've read. I'm thinking John McEnroe. He didn't write a book. He probably has, actually. He's quite funny. Robert Monroe books, and I think right about the third book he talks about he's going to all these different worlds, and he said that, you know, basically everybody's still in their own consciousness, their own mindset, doing what they're doing, more or less that type of things, and they all get put into certain realms or bands with regards to, you know, what they think before they die, where they put themselves, how fixed their views are, you know, how angry they are, however sex they are, they basically live it out again, a bit like the Phantom rehashed in a more sort of I suppose less flamboyant way. And then he said there was a particular time that he'd gone out of his body, and he was in these like different worlds where other beings, I suppose, bow down. They're almost like prostrate, is that the word? No, not prostrate land, prostate, I don't know. They were lying down on the floor, and this being came through that was something else. It was almost, to me, it felt like when I read it, it was like they had it all together. Like an old soul that had experienced, knew where they stood. This feels like this. It's almost like I can't really tell you what your particular job should be anyway, which is difficult for me anyhow. But it feels like an idea on everybody's utopia. You know, where should we be in thousands of years' time? How would you want to leave people if they all died tomorrow? You know, could you just by your presence, by the way that you interacted, by your decisions, by your energy, how would you influence people? Because I think that you do that naturally anyway, and that is your gift. There's a feeling here that you've got passion for life. Sometimes without the Star and the Justice, you can become too intellectual for your own good that you forget to be, you forget to live, you forget your spark. This has got a very balanced feeling in it here. The Ten of Earth is the perseverance to keep going when when things go wrong, and also the intellect here with the Magician to get life with that reignited with your spark again to get where you want to be. And still you keep fighting, and your beauty is still there. This has got almost coming out of, you know, what are your talents and what are your gifts. This has got the most magnificent I almost feel like I've met somebody that I admire. That type of feeling, you know, when you meet somebody and you normally get parts of somebody that you want, who you want to be. You know, I want to be more like that because, and you take things inside yourself, and I get that all the time. So the fact that I try not to follow too many people, actually I do it, but because I'm quite impressionable and I don't want to copy them, so I just try not to watch too many people, because I take a bit of them and I hold it because I find it beautiful, and that's, you know, how I move forward. I can't watch too much because I am incredibly impressionable, incredibly, which, you know, is part and parcel of, you know, the pros and cons of all our personalities, isn't it? So I'm going to summarize you up, because to me it feels like I don't really feel qualified to do it, because you feel absolutely magnificent, but your gifts and your talents are how to bring them out of yourself, a really difficult one for me. Your talents are your perseverance, your strength, possibly through adversity, and your ability to manifest things. With Magician card is a simple word that perhaps if overused doesn't mean anything. It's your ability when you're down to start picking yourself up, and in doing that action starts, and when action starts it starts rolling to something bigger. You keep moving forward because you're a tough cookie. With the Queen of Wands here and the Justice card and the Star card here, is balance and fire with what I guess is an ideal or a dream and a purpose. You've got the Tower cards here with the Cups card. Regardless of how many times you're kicked down, regardless of how many times you meet a brick wall, you still have what I feel is an ideal that you work towards here, and in that is your own journey, which continues regardless of where we are. And I was thinking earlier about the Elvis film that I watched a couple of weeks ago, and thinking, well, why are we getting that film now? And then thinking Elvis is a Capricorn, and the Pluto is, I think, if I'm right, is on his sun. Your chart never dies. We keep going in cycles. This is like his, because it's a film that is probably, maybe Elvis is portrayed in a better way than any other film. It's like he's having a resurgence of himself. He's, energy doesn't die. His chart never dies. Things still keep moving. The impact in this world will be different because he's not here, but it is still an impact. The same is with you through journeys, the Six of Air and the Palace. It's almost like going through different situations that you keep, it's like you're healing yourself, and repeated patterns. It feels like an old soul is what I'm trying to say. You feel like an old soul. That is your gift to the world. That is your talent. It's your ease with yourself and your grit that is your talent. It's talents. Let me just get one more card out. Yeah. This here, the Five of Earth, is the woman. This is like advice for you. Just said I don't feel qualified to do, is the woman in the rags walking through the street. It's like the Tower card here, and the Seven of Wands with the Nine of Cups after it, which is basically self-satisfied. You don't need the things that the rest of the world thinks they do need. You're probably way above that, and that is a better gift than being able to write a good essay, a better gift than being able to speak well in front of people, or to please your boss in some way. Your gift is what feels like you're outside of yourself, and you've got a detached viewpoint on the world, and there's a desire nature enough to be able to love life and to give of yourself, but the desire nature is not enough to keep you coming back unless you want to, if you know what I mean. It feels like you can walk like this lady through the streets and not want anything. You don't need the car, the house, the clothes, the acceptance, the need to be loved by people all the time. It feels like you're prepared to take the flack of being that, and you're going to get flack by doing that. People who are, very much stuck into consuming or wanting more, or feeling dissatisfied, which is quite a platonic feel at times, you will make them feel uncomfortable. And your gift to us is probably the hardest things for yourself, is that you need to keep on moving when you feel beaten down with that, because that is your gift definitely to us. Oh my lordy. How magnificent are you? What a shiner. I'm going to leave that there. Pile number frog, dancing frog. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much for spending time with me. I feel privileged. Bye. Okay, I'm just going to talk about general qualities with regards to your innate talents and your gifts, and then we're going to talk about the best way forward, how to bring it out of yourself here. You've started off with the middle with the Six of Wands and the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Wands. That to me feels that you've got confidence that functions well in the outside world. So you're not overconfident in the fact that you alienate people, but you've got enough confidence to get yourself moving and to be able to express yourself here. You've got here the Six of Wands too, so it makes me think you are a group person, or that you work well in groups, or that you are it could be different ways actually. With a fiery way that people with fire signs are group people. They tend to be a lot of the time and work well with other people. They are stimulated by possibly even competition in some way. They're stimulated by interaction, definitely. Or it could even be with the Six of Wands with the beehive. It could be that Virgo quality of needing to be busy all the time and enjoying being busy with groups. Not sure which one it is yet. I'm tending towards the it could be either. When I put these cards out, the Ace of Swords the Ace of Swords, the Temperance card and the Hierophant card, to me once again it spoke of balance with regards to communicating in a way that is acceptable, which is a funny thing to say. So to be a group person, you have to deliver messages, or you have to be able to cooperate in some way. You can get people who aren't good at doing that. You can get people that work really well with others but aren't when they start talking, they basically put their foot in their mouth. I think that you are the opposite here. The Temperance card makes me think balance. It's that you're in touch with what's needed, you're in touch with other people's emotions. The Ace of Swords makes me think of clarity, speaking the truth. The Hierophant does it in either a business way or a sense that gives structure, and it allows things to develop, to be you're like the middleman between two different situations, and you do a really good job with it, is what I'm trying to say here. The Ten of Wands here as well, the Nine of Water, makes me think that you're reasonably laid back, but that you are good at shouldering responsibility if need be for a group. Like ants work together. You get stuck in. You could even be a boss in some way. You could have a higher position, but you're the one that gets your sleeves rolled up and gets stuck in, which is always a fantastic thing with regards to people that have more responsibility. From the people that I know who have more responsibility, they just become fantastic delegators, which is what is needed, because you can't do everything. But every now and then, which may even if it's just like once a month, if you are in a position where you're telling people what to do all the time, is to let them feel as if you're part of the team. That you can actually get stuck in occasionally. I don't know if that's just the feeling I've got here with carrying the load, the Nine of Water being at ease with yourself, and being able to communicate with others and working extremely hard, but possibly with enough confidence with the Queen of Wands to put yourself in a position where you can shoulder responsibility, so you want the pluses that go with that. Now, there's a strong message in here, what I'll get to over here in a minute, but you've got the High Priestess with the Four of Swords here, and the Ace of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands. So to me, that is intuition and insight, the ability to either retract from a situation, to almost like once again, it's like a confident, it's like a psychic ability to understand patterns, to understand, to have an eye on the bigger picture, to know people's motives and intentions before they actually talk about them or say them, and to be able to get things started for yourself. There is a feeling here, there's a lady who I've given a couple of readings to, I hope she doesn't mind me saying, who's got an apothecary shop. Is there anything more magnificent sounding than that? This has this feeling, because there's the confidence to be able to set things up for yourself with the Queen of Wands here. The High Priestess could speak of something that you've set something up, even like it's like a tarot reading business, or a apothecary shop, or something that uses your intuition in some way, and maybe through a period of what feels like lying low, maybe understanding situations, you've got more to put into that. How can I say that in a way that is better? By reflection, by times or periods of, even like COVID, of not being able to do something, has given you more of a leg up, insight, more opportunities to be able to either save money, put money into it, or to get things moving in the real world. I don't think it's been easy for you to get where you are at the moment. Now, there is more behind this here. You've got the Death card and Count at the side. Hold on, I've got a thought, but I need more for it before I start delving. Yeah, there's a changer coming. You've got here Death card here, you've got Chiron, and there's something big coming towards you that feels like it's changed, and there's almost like a message in this with regards to bringing out your best talents, is your ability to reboot here. It's coming. I feel that you've got the High Priestess, what is change, that change is needed. and it feels as if you're going to get more responsibility, but before that you're going to feel like you're going to have to take a different viewpoint or a different tack. If something's not working, change it, or you may actually get to the point here, almost like a tower feeling with the Chiron here, where some past hurt is nibbled, you feel bad, but that bad enough makes you move into a different situation. So let me answer the questions now. I've dug through what I can see. Your innate talents are your ability to work as part of a team, your ability to speak the truth, it to be accepted by others. So I feel like you're very diplomatic and you've got the confidence enough to be your own boss or somebody else's boss. There's an insight and intuition that may add itself to your business, as I said earlier, like astrology. Things that come to mind are normally immediate things because, obviously the tarot, astrology, the apothecary shop, something that has what I would say almost an occulty flair to it, and also as well probably through the rub of other people or through being disgruntled in some way, or just general other people's thoughts or opinions may have made you change your tack already with regards to what you deliver outwards, and that is a good thing. With this Five of Wands here, the Ace of Pentacles, the occulty type of feeling, the change, the Chiron. If you've got a business going already and you have been nipped at by people or insulted, or somebody's been rude to you, and you've got the ability to use that as a bit of fire for moving onwards. There was a talk with Madonna on she was accepting an award, and she was thanking the people, I think it was accepting an award, the people who had basically slagged her off, because she said she wouldn't be where she is now unless that had happened. And that is part of it. And it's never pleasant, is it? But I think that is acceptance of that is part of a package where you can actually get further. So how to use your best talents, and the way forward with that is to use any form of disgruntled opinions on you as kindle for moving onwards, with the Chiron and the Death card there and the Seven of Wands. There is a feeling here of possibly being the middleman between group activity and being accessible, but also being what I would say more of a boss energy with the Queen of Wands here, where you make the decisions, you can deliver, delegate, is that a great word? We always laugh about delegating in our family. You can delegate things to other people as well. So you may need to employ people as time goes on, or already, but you're very good at that. You're very good with others. So that is another one of your gifts here. There's a balance between, there's something really nice about the way that you talk to people. It feels as if you could be almost like the diplomatic face on a business or a particular job. It feels like you're the one that's pushed out to do the media bits, or you're the one that's pushed out to be the, as I said, the public face. If you're a nurse, you're the one that goes out and talks to people when things are difficult. If you're part of a media team, you're the one that does the writing, you're the PR in some way. Or if you're part of, let me think of different jobs. You're just good with people. You know people, and you're very much at this, you've got the confidence to be able to do it, but you've probably have had your hands rolled up and got stuck in enough to understand different people's perspectives. So a people person with confidence is what I'm getting here. There's an ease of contact with other people. There's and a very sort of occulty feeling here, or if it's not occulty, it's insight or periods out of life where you could have been ill, you could have had an accident, where you've decided where you want to go, and where you want to go maybe slightly, like kicked in the ankles with regards to public opinion, maybe in some way, with the Death card and the Chiron here, and taking a different tack. Or it may not just be public opinion, it could have been a job that didn't work out, and with the Ace of Pentacles here, it's by those lessons that you've learned that are going to get you where you're going to go. So your advice here is to keep on moving. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be afraid. Don't ever look backwards with regards to things that have you've had hurdles in your life. And just an example of this is my older brother set up quite a few businesses in the past, and because of his optimism and his confidence, you know, a couple didn't work, and he even lost money for people, and he just carries on moving. And that is the Wands card here. That's the Sagittarius in him, that's the Aries in him. That is calling on you to be able to to keep going here. The Death, to take the change, the Chiron, to not hold on to the hurt, to take a different tack in a way that that allows others to know that you're not going to be easily swayed, I suppose, that you've got perseverance. But your gifts are your ability to communicate with others. Your gifts are your ability to get your sleeves rolled up and get stuck in, but still be able to delegate, to take responsibility, to have a fire inside you that has the confidence to stand up for, and take responsibility for a group too. But it may be in some particular form that, if it's not in a form of the occult, it's in possibly, as I said earlier, that you've got fight here going on and change, but it could be in a way that you have had time period out to almost change your career, and that this would be saying, do it, don't hold on to past hurts. If you've had let's just say you've been a footballer for most of your life, and then you had an injury and you had to think what to do next. That's it, that's what you're meant to be doing next. That injury, possibly, if you think like this could have been for a reason, and I'm thinking here of a Caroline Myss's book I read, or article I read, I can't remember, years and years ago, about how she, either herself or somebody else, I think it was her, went into hospital for a time period because she was just going for it and going for it and going for it. She was going down the wrong track, so she stopped, if it was her, and rethought her next step with the Chiron there. And it's not like looking back and thinking I wasted my time. It's like, go for it here. This, the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands is insight, intuition, getting stuck in. Don't think too much, just use that. What I say, the Ace of Swords is more of an instigator, it's more like a cardinal feel of getting things started, and you've got that twice here. So there you go. I'm going to leave that there, pile number 3. It's really difficult to say specifics here with regards to jobs. I'm always awful at it because I said in pile number 1 or 2 that unless I can have context or experience, I don't remember things, don't remember people's names, don't remember like specific jobs. It's more like if I've had experience with people and I've been with it, then I can remember. But and I said earlier as well that if I was born later, I probably wouldn't diagnosed with ADHD because of my attention. But that is what I've got. I hope it helps. More of qualities and processes to move yourself forward, to be able to display who you are, to express yourself with these gifts, which are a mixture of commitment, perseverance, the ability to relay, and the ability to get things started. A good all-rounder, I would say there, and the confidence to keep moving after hiccups. I'm gonna go, bye.